the night before the CSEC Math Paper 3 exam. No, I know that you're doing your very best to master the concepts and to ace this exam. But here's what. I know the paper 3 is relatively new. How do you approach the paper 3, and what are the things that you can do to ensure that you ace the paper 3? What exactly are you to expect? And how do you approach the questions? The CSEC Math Paper 2 and Paper 1 have been around for ages. We have tons of past papers that we have combed through. The Paper 3, which is the alternative to the SBA, so the Paper 3 is what private students do, is relatively new. There are not many past papers to look at, and so I'm going to give you some tips on how you can approach this paper. If you follow these tips, you will surely ace the Math Paper 3. So here we go. So just a brief summary of what the Paper 3 is. So it's the alternative to the SBA. Students who are registered at their high school, traditional high school, mainstream, they would do the SBA or the school-based assessment. And those students who are private students, registered as private candidates, they would do the Paper 3. Now, the Paper 3, as with the SBA, is all about applying, showing how you apply math to real life. That's what it's all about. Now, here are some tips that I'm going to tell you. So, before the exam, you need to be familiar with the format that the Paper 3 is going to have. It's actually one extended real-world problem, right? It's expected to take 60 minutes and is worth 20 marks, 20 out of your 100 marks. So the Paper 3 carries 20 marks, as does the SBA. You'll get things like data, tables, graphs, and you're going to be expected to investigate, to calculate stuff, and to communicate your findings in a clear, concise way. You will not be given a formula sheet as you are normally given for the Paper 2. So make sure that you know your key formulas that you might encounter. And I'm going to tell you the main areas so that you'll know those formulas and be able to pull on them where needed. So that's step 1. Make sure you memorize your key formulas and familiarize yourself with the structure of the paper. One extended real-world problem, which is kind of like a performance task, similar to what the PEP students get their performance task. So the second tip, practice past papers like crazy. Like I said, the past papers are limited, but if you can, and they're not as widely available, but if you can get your hands on them, practice them, and think along those lines. You can even imagine other real-world scenarios that are similar and test yourself and give it to your teacher to look at. Now, the CSEC reuses certain structures, so you can expect things like budgeting, profit and loss, geometry, measurement, projects that ask you to measure stuff, statistical surveys. So things like that you keep in mind, and you also need to time yourself because it's a 1-hour exam. So the question style is different from paper 1, which is the multiple choice, and paper 2, the short answer working on question. So tip number 3, make sure that you understand the big four. The big four topics that paper 3 tend to pull on, and those are statistics, consumer arithmetic, geometry, and algebra. For the statistics, you're going to see things like calculating the mean, the median, the mode, and manipulating graphs. For the consumer arithmetic, profit and loss, interest, hire purchase, stuff like that. For the geometry and measurement, they tend to focus on area, volume, scales, stuff like that. And for the algebra, substitution, knowing your formulas, and being able to translate real world problems into algebraic equations that you then would need to solve. So those are the big four: statistics, consumer arithmetic, geometry measurement, and algebra. Make sure you understand those four. And if you have any issue with those, remember, our channel covers all of these. So just go on the separate playlist. There's a playlist for algebra, playlist for blah, blah, blah. Everything have a playlist. Just go on the channel, look for the playlist, or look for the live videos that we have done, and scroll until you find what you need. Everything has been covered for you. Tip number 4, read the stimulus material twice and then highlight the important questions, the key words that are telling you what to do. So you're going to get a scenario. You more than likely might get a table or a graph. First, read and understand the story, the scenario that is being presented. Second, read and circle all numbers, units, what they actually ask. And don't forget your units, because if you leave out your units, you will certainly be missing those key marks that you need to get to complete your 20 total marks for this paper. Tip number 5, plan before you calculate. 5 minutes maximum for your planning. Just have a little outline, right? Find out exactly stuff like the total cost, look at your graphs, look at trends, patterns that you see coming up in your graphs. So remember that they don't want you to be rambling on and on and on. Just make clear, concise statements based on the patterns that you have observed, and allot a couple of minutes to do thorough reading and planning before you actually start answering the question. Tip number 6, show every step and state your formulas that you are using. Now, for example, area of the triangle, half base times height for the right angle triangle. Before you put in any substitute any values at all, state your formula clearly, right? So that even if your answer is wrong, you might get some method marks, some marks for the method, your formula. That will give you a few bonus marks, even if your final answer is wrong. So do not skip any step. For the paper 3, it's very important that they see how you are thinking, how you are processing the scenario, and the formulas are very important. Tip number 7, units, units, units. Don't forget your units. $sign is a unit. Instead of writing 250, $250 if it's money they're talking about. 48 centimeters square for area, not just 48. 2.5 hours, not just 2.5. The CSEC, they are ruthless when it comes to units. You have to have your unit in the final answer to get your marks. So check every final answer line to ensure that your correct unit is there. If they say how many boys came, your answer should not just be 6, it should be 6 boys. All right. Tip number 8. Draw graphs, tables with a ruler, and label everything. Everything. Put on your labels. Your title, label your x-axis, your y-axis, put on your scale, make sure your points are plotted neatly. The line of best fit, if asked for that, use at least 2/3 of the graph paper. And do not be messy or you're going to lose marks. If you're asked to draw a graph, don't make the scale so small that the graph is tiny and in a limited space. Make your scale big so that the graph can fill up the space, right? 2 centimeters to 1 unit as opposed to 1 centimeter to 1 unit or 1 centimeter to 2 or 5 units. Spread out your graph. Tip number 9. You get marks for how you express, how you communicate your thoughts. I want you to answer in complete sentences for those questions that ask you to explain, describe, comment on, right? So don't just say the profit increase. A better answer is the profit increased by $350 from January to March because sales went from $1,200 to $1,550 while costs stayed fixed at $800. So it shows that you're using the data from the actual question and you're analyzing it and making interpretations. You're processing the information and then you express clearly in full sentences. Number 10, if you are asked to suggest or advise, right, be realistic in your suggestions or in your predictions. If the company is losing money, don't say sell more. A better example might be they should reduce packaging costs by 10% since packaging is 30% of expenses based on table 2. So tie it into the data. Always make reference to the information that you were given to show that you are making an analysis and you're giving an educated guess or an educated prediction based on the data. Tip number 11, check your reasonableness. How realistic it is. How reasonable is this? So if one bag of cement costs $2,000 and you got $20 for your answer, that means you missed a decimal somewhere. In the paper 3 scenarios, there are real life scenarios. If your answer couldn't happen at Price Mart or Mega Mart or in the supermarket, go back and check. If it is not reasonable or realistic, go back and check. Tip number 12, don't leave any part blank. Part C is worth 5 marks. So even the trend shows sales increase. This might be because of the holiday season shown in the December spike in figure 1, something like that. It might get you 2 to 3 marks instead of leaving it blank and getting a big fat egg, as we like to say, a 0. A big fat egg if it is blank, right? So try. Do not leave any question blank. You're going to get your marks for knowledge, meaning you use the correct formula, you use the correct method. You're going to get your mark for application, using correct substitution and calculation. You're going to get your mark for reasoning, logical steps, correct units, clear graph. You're going to get your marks for communication, explaining in context with data. Again, the most common topics you're likely to see on the paper 3: hire purchase versus cash, profit and loss breakdown, drawing and interpreting line graph, bar graph, pie charts, area and volume of composite shapes, scale drawings, simple and compound interest. Anything like that. Remember, we said the big 4, right? So consumer arithmetic, algebra, statistics, geometry / measurement. These are my 12 tips. Once you follow these tips, you will be perfectly fine in your paper 3 coming up. And if you want help with your paper 2 and paper 1, I think I have done all of the paper 1 past papers in our live videos. So go back and check, you'll see the live videos. And we've also done a lot of paper 2 questions. So just search for them, search for what you need, and we have it here for you. So good luck on your paper 3. I know you're going to ace it.